Hello, Mehmet. How are you?
Hi, Samina. I'm good. How are you doing?
Good to see you.
You too.
Mehmet, I want you to first introduce yourself to my audience and then we'll
Yes.
get started.
Yeah, of course. Hi everyone. My name is Mehmet Bayram. I am from London, UK. My background in real estate has been for approximately 22 years. I've worked for most of the big chains in the UK. Worked myself from a trainee to a manager. And for the last 5.5 years, I've been solo, and now I have my own brokerage in the UK.
That's great. And congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Moving onwards.
Yes.
Mehmet, I want you to explain to me from a perspective of an investor why UK? What are the points that you can share with the audience that, if an investor wants to invest in UK, what can they expect from their investment?
Okay, so UK, especially in London, the market is very strong currently. Rental demand is always high. Apart from obviously, we shouldn't really talk about COVID. I don't want to bring it up, but apart from COVID time, everyone was moving out of the city like they everywhere around the world. But everyone loves London as the city is the main point. So we had so much more people coming back. The demand for rental is very high. So with that, as well as our brilliant education system here for universities for students from abroad, there's always demand for property. So for an investor to look into London, if you look in close central London, look at there's some amazing new developments, and the pricings on these developments are really good at the moment because the I know in America you call them condos, over here we call them flats. The prices are narrowing down; they're getting down a little bit more now because there's so much available. So this is a great time to take advantage as an investor.
Good time to buy. That's
Definitely, 100%.
so I have seen in the past, looking at flats in London,
Hmm.
that a lot of investors buy and then they renovate.
Yes.
Now, the ones that you're talking about, are they already renovated or their potential of buying it less and then renovate it to get some equity and then
Mhm.
rent it out? What are the preferences?
So again, it depends on the plan with the investor. To be fair, we have amazing brand new developments in the locations where you can buy off plan. So you are getting at a bit of a reduced rate now, and then within 12 months, either sell it on or keep it on, and you've built up your equity. We've got some amazing developments that we're currently working on selling off market right now as well. However, to buy a property that is very close to a university, if it is something that needs updating and you can get a really good price now, um, landlords do want to buy them at a cheaper price, invest a little bit of money into them, and just specialize that investment and refurbishment to your point of contact, point of tenant that you like to get. So if it's student focused, for example, it needs to be friendly for students.
And they do stay vacant over the summer, is it?
No, no. So the way I like to work personally is there's always going to be a 12-month contract with a guarantee. So this makes it even more appealing for landlords. Tenants are happy to do, well, students, for example, are happy to do a 12-month contract. Some of them can break it a little bit sooner. However, they'll re-let straight away. So sometimes there's maybe a 1 month window, which gives the landlord good enough time to maybe do a little bit more work, refresh it, as obviously the better condition you can provide these properties, the higher the rent we can achieve for them.
Um, what price range are we looking at, like US dollar wise?
US dollars, well, if we're looking at, I'm not sure what the rates are at the moment, the difference, but if you're looking in certain parts of London, Southeast London, for example, you can get really good two-bedroom flats in between the 500,000 to 700,000 pounds, which I'll guess that's going to work in between the 400 $600 approximately, maybe a little bit less.
Uh,
Um, yeah.
yeah.
Um, And the rental demand for those sort of properties, the locations I'm thinking, you can achieve anywhere in between 2,000 and £3,000 a month.
That's pretty good.
Definitely. There's so much demand.
Okay. And what are the condo, like are they condo fees?
There is, so over in here in the UK, there'll be counted as a leasehold. So all the apartments are leasehold. So the freehold is owned by the freeholder, which could be the council or developer. And there's the leases all start with different pricing. So the newer properties, they could start from £12 per square foot. But the majority of the older condos here in the UK, you're looking at a price range between 2,000 to £4,000 a year.
Okay. Now these could be Airbnb also.
Yes,
In the city, which is close to like a metro.
yes. So when you're in central London, so we do it by zone. So the zone one is the central London. So your Mayfairs, Kensingtons, London Bridge, and then it slowly moves out to zone two, three, and four. So you would need to be looking at the zone two and zone one ideally. Obviously, zone one is the premium. That's the most expensive.
Yeah. And
Um,
how much do they range for? Like just to get an idea, two bedroom, two bath.
Currently, I'm helping a buyer from Arizona, actually. She's looking for a property for her daughter, and realistically, close to St. Pancras, which is very close to the LSE, which is one of the top universities. You'll be looking at a price ranging between 700,000 to 1 million, again, depending on age and the exact location. However, those locations, you won't be further than 15 minutes from the metro.
Okay. And what about like the Paddington, Kensington area? Same, similar.
Yeah, Paddington. You can the less luxurious. You can get them from in between 800,000 up to 1 million. And then obviously, if you're going into the really luxurious buildings with really high ceilings, lots of space, you're looking maybe about 1,500 square foot. You're looking more of a price range of 1.1 up to 1.7 million for a two-bedroom, two-bathroom.
What about those townhouses?
The townhouses in Mayfair, in South Kensington, those
Or
locations.
yeah, Kensington or maybe even like central London, usually like close to Selfridges and areas
Yeah.
like that.
So the most popular ones are Mews. So you would find something, for example, it could be Colchester Mews, Gloucester Mews, and again, you've got so many that have been either invested in already, and they're really ultra luxury. They could price range up to 5 million. However, if you get one that is very dated and it needs a lot of work doing, you could potentially snap one up at just under 2 million. Again, depending on size, obviously, they usually start from 3 bedroom. You can go up to a 5 bedroom.
So nothing in the half a million range in the
Not for the Muse, no. So in central London, if you have a budget in between 500,000 up to 1 million,
yeah.
you'll ideally be looking at a two-bedroom flat, 1 to 2 bedroom flat.
Okay. Okay. So if they buy for 2 million
Mhm,
and they renovate it,
mhm.
well, how much equity are we looking at?
If you bought something for 2 million that needed a bit of work, a bit of investment, you could look at potentially. I would say you need to invest about 100,000, and it could be worth around the 2.4 to 2.5. That's a realistic price range. The rental on those sort of units, you'd be looking roughly maybe about £4,000 a month.
Okay. Okay. So not much, not
It's
much.
not that much. So there's, yeah, exactly. So there's the equity in some parts of London is very low. If we can find anything now at 4.5%, it's excellent. A few years ago, it was a minimum 5 to 6%, but that market doesn't really exist now. You have to be very lucky. But I work with some really good agents. We do find stuff off market. and we can offer some opportunities, but it's very rare.
Now, let's talk about financing. Somebody who wants to put maybe 20% down, can they get financing?
They can. So we have, I partner with financial advisors here, brokers, which specialize in overseas buyers. If you are looking for an investment, a buy to let, you will be looking at minimum 25% deposit and 75% mortgage.
Okay. And that can be arranged with the rent being paid, going towards the mortgage.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And you do manage also those properties for investors who don't live in the UK?
Yeah, of course. So currently, I manage properties for one of my clients in New York. I've got clients in Hong Kong, China, Singapore, and Europe, where I've known them for years. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. So we have an in-house management team that takes care of everything, collects the rent, look at all the compliance because there's so much compliance now that's so important. And we always make sure that we're on top of all this for our landlords.
What about getting a flat near Cromwell Hospital or something like that, around
Mm.
that area? How much, any idea you could give me?
Cromwell Hospital, I'll be honest,
These are,
of my
that is one of the popular hospital, is it? Mm.
that is St Thomas Hospital as well, which is part of the NHS. Then you've got the London Hospital, which is in London Bridge, and obviously you've got a lot of really good private hospitals in central London, Mayfair's. So if you want a property in that sort of area, you're going to be looking at minimum 1 million onwards.
Okay. Okay. Because I was just looking at it from the point of view of people coming in as patients,
Yes.
and sometimes they need spaces like that because they have long-term treatment going on.
Yeah, of course, and that's very popular. If you get a really good property for Airbnb
Yeah.
for short term, they're very, very, very popular for patients of the hospitals. Sometimes you can go directly to a hospital and actually register there as a landlord that to provide a property for them.
How much could they look for monthly in Airbnbs, Mehmet?
Airbnbs in those areas, it can start from approximately about £270 per night.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a definitely good investment. You just need to be wary of licenses in some parts of London where you're not allowed to rent it for more than 90 days,
Ah,
uh, as well as some councils do not allow you. So it's not the building managers, but sometimes it's just the council that will not allow you to do Airbnb unless you have some sort of a license as well. Just because in the past it's been misused. It's not been very popular, managed very well. So they're starting to get a lot more stricter in London.
okay. What else can you tell us, like the benefits of investing in the UK?
For an investor in London, there's just so many opportunities here. You know, it's Airbnb, it could be long-term rental. There's always professionals in need of properties. I've had doctors that work in central London who actually live out of London but want to buy an apartment closer to the hospital. Obviously, they do late night shifts, so they can't be traveling 1 hour on the train. So I've sold them flats in central London where it's literally sitting empty until they need to go and stay in there. So there's so many opportunities. It really depends on what strategy you want, what sort of landlord you want to be. But that's where, again, if I have a specific landlord with a specific budget, then we can discuss, have a consultation, and look at options and which one may be more secure for that landlord.
And they can buy with a visitor's visa.
I believe they could. Again, we have specialists who we partner with that can advise you of this. So we don't have that many issues here, to be fair, for landlords that are from overseas. So there's obviously a few things that they'll need to look at and get compliant with, but we can organise this. Like I said, I've got maybe at least 30 landlords who are abroad and only have visited in the UK in the past that are still landlords.
So your investors that are buying, like you're saying, from Hong Kong, China, and
Mhm.
you're from New York, how long do they hold these properties, hold
Uh,
investments?
so
How long do you recommend, and then when do you think that they should change, is what I'm trying to understand.
okay, so clients from China, they're usually looking in between 3 to 5 years. So they've changed their strategy a lot because there's a cap on how much money they can transfer over to the UK now. So what the majority I'm finding now is parents buying properties for their children who come here to study. So instead of paying rent, they'll buy, children will live there, obviously pay the rent, get a bit of experience, and then they either
That's,
live in there.
that's about 3 years.
I would say 3 to 5 years. It's usually 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, because your university is like 3 years, correct?
It's 3 to 5 years. Again, if you want to be a doctor, lawyer, it can drag, but usually 5 years is maximum.
Okay, got it. Okay, anything else you can share, Mehmet, about it?
Well, all I could say is, if you want to explore London, it's definitely worth speaking to someone who's got experience here, speaking to other specialists as well, not just real estate agents. So, for example, financial planners, um, uh, legal teams, just to see all the legitimate side of what you need to do to come over here or buy a property and be a landlord overseas. So it's just getting all those in order and working with a budget. So again, with these sort of things, I can organise, I can help, I can structure it to take the stress away. But London is definitely a city that you want to invest in. However,
Outskirts?
outskirts, that's what I was just about to lead on to. So Manchester is very up and coming.
Okay.
You have Liverpool is slowly catching up as well, but you've got just out of London, you've got Reading. Um, you've got well, so if we go towards Swindon, that's up and coming as well. So there is other options where the prices are a little bit lower, but the rent is high. So a lot of landlords I know here in the UK now are actually looking up north because they can get a higher equity. So again, there's a lot of options, and we're covered nationwide in the UK. So we're definitely more than
So
happy
you
to help.
would definitely recommend a little outside London.
Again, depends on the strategy and the budget that the client has. You can definitely maybe get two properties out of London and have them both out as rental. Again, there's really good universities in different parts of the UK, and Scotland is another really good market as well to consider.
That's great. And you have all the team of people that you recommend that a client would like to consult with before they come to you,
Yes.
see the properties.
Of course, anything you need over here, I've got a line of teams that I work with, which are very transparent, very good reputation, and always willing to help. So I only work with people that are very similar to me, where we're looking to expand on long term and build really long term relationships. So any sort of advice you need, I've got the team right behind me.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you, Mehmet, for your time.
Cool.
This
Thank you,
was
Samina.
wonderful, and I hope our audience can get enough information. And for those who are looking to invest in the UK, please contact me, and I will introduce you to my good friend Mehmet right here. He's wonderful as an agent and can guide you the right way. Thank you, Mehmet, for your time.
Thank you for your time, Samina. I appreciate it. Take care.